Hi, I'm Jen Kramer, a staff author here at O'Reilly Media. I'm looking at 4 hot new features in Bootstrap 4 Alpha 1. Bootstrap 4 was released in its alpha form back in mid-August. Watch for a few more alpha releases, 2 beta releases, and 2 release candidates before the final release. The 4th new feature we'll look at in Bootstrap 4 isn't glamorous, but it sure is handy. These are a zillion new and revised utility classes in Bootstrap 4, making styling more flexible and easier than ever. This is the page that describes all of these utility classes here at Bootstrap. And if we go through these, just scroll on down the page here and take a quick peek. We start right off the bat with some new things that are available to us here. This is some classes that are available for margin and padding, which are absolutely fabulous to work with. So the way this is set up is the spacing includes a default value of 1 rem, R-E-M, rem, which stands for root M. So an M, as you know, has to do with the width of the letter M, and it's a relative unit of size when working in CSS. A rem is an M that is relative to the root, or the HTML tag. What happens is as you go into your HTML and you change around font sizes, the size of the M can change over time. So by tying the size of your text here or your spacing to the HTML element means that we keep it constant but yet flexible for responsive layouts, which is why rems are a great choice for this type of application. So here for our margin, the default value is 1 rem, which corresponds to roughly 16 pixels in a default browser configuration. And if you take a look here at our types of classes that are available to us, the first chunk here at the top of margin have to do with zeroing out margin. And you can zero that out on all 4 sides, on the top, right, bottom, or left individually, in the X direction, in other words, the left and the right, or in the Y direction, in other words, the top and the bottom. And then we repeat over that for adding margin, in this case adding the default value of 1 rem, again to the same type of configuration. Notice also that the last class in that particular series, m-x-auto, will allow you to center something on a page. Then we go to a medium and a large version of these particular margins. And what that is doing is it's taking the value of the 1 rem, which is our default value that's currently assigned to the spacer variable that we see listed here, and then we multiply that by some amount. In the case of the medium-sized space, we're multiplying it by 1.5 to make that space just a little bit bigger. And likewise for the large version here, we multiply that by 3, so we get an even bigger margin that's available to us. Of course, you're welcome to go into your Sass variables and reset the value, the default value here for the spacer, either the spacer by itself or the spacer in the X or the Y direction if you want to have something else going on in your Bootstrap web page and still use these classes. Padding has exactly the same kind of configuration that I just described for margin, except this time it has to do with padding. Further down on the page, we have the ability to center our text in various directions, including left, center, right, justify, and making sure that we don't wrap our text. We also have the ability to transform our text. We can make it lowercase, uppercase, or we can capitalize the first word of a particular phrase. A little bit more interesting is the fact that we can change our colors. I actually showed this in a video earlier in the week, where you can apply a class of one of these, text muted, text primary, text success, and so forth. Apply that directly to a paragraph tag or a div, and it will change the color of the text within that particular class. Likewise, you can change the background color very easily with the same type of configuration, simply using the class like bg-primary for a background primary, and that will change the background color of the div. Further down on the page, for those of you who have been concerned with accessibility, Bootstrap is still leading the way among the responsive design frameworks in providing some accessibility features and functionality that are easily incorporated in your work. And one of these happens to be some classes for screen readers. So there is a class called SR only. In other words, this element is only apparent if you're going to be using a screen reader. This is helpful if you have some kind of graphical interface, maybe a close button that is a little X that may not be obvious to a screen reader, but you could actually code the word close as a link and then hide it from everyone who's not a screen reader so that those who are using screen readers have easy access to that particular link. The other option that we have here is SR only focusable. It shows the element when it's focused. In other words, if somebody is tabbing through the links using a keyboard, the SR only focusable link will show up if somebody happens to hit the focus of that particular item using their keyboard. And finally, down at the bottom of this page, as mentioned also earlier in this week, is the way that we can make responsively embedded video. And you can read through the documentation here to see exactly how that's done. Notice that there are 3 different aspect ratios that come with Bootstrap for embedding responsive video, including 21:9, 16:9, and 4:3. These new utility classes are just some of the hot new features in Bootstrap 4. Be sure to sign up for email notification when the new Bootstrap 4 training title is released, so you can learn everything that there is to know about Bootstrap 4. See you in another video.